in the city of Philly, where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. 9 guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
What's good, beautiful people? You guys are tuned into your Eagles pregame show featuring Coach Markus from Pro Fan Talk and yours truly, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Make sure you guys stay locked in. Make sure you guys smash that like button. You know the vibes. You know the energy. You guys know we always keep it electric. We always keep the vibes high here. Stay active. Talk y'all ish. It's the last regular season game of the season. Many more games to come. You guys know what the vibes is. I need y'all to wake up. Wake up. I know it's early for some of y'all on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, it's live, baby. It's live. Markus, how you feeling over there?
Man, it's a little chilly here. 27 degrees. Just a little chilly here. But we ready to rock and roll, man. We ready to rock and roll. It's been a long season, bro. We've been doing this since preseason, bro. Since camp. And we are at the end. I remember when we was 2-2, talking about the ifs, the maybes, and the woulda, shoulda, couldas. And, you know, sometimes you just got to give things time. You got to give people time to settle in and just let them find their place and let them do what they do. And I'll tell you what, man, Vic Fangio, Saquon Barkley, they have exceeded our wildest expectations, man. Our wildest expectations. And I go back, and I always go back and I look at that those posts that they made on Twitter and TikTok and all of that, the Miami Dolphins, when they got rid of Vic Fangio, when they was kicking rocks and all of that kind of stuff, like they didn't need him. Now you see, hey, listen, sometimes the guys on the field ain't getting it done. You know, you can only call a play a certain kind of way, but the guys on the field still got to get it done. And guess what? We went from worst to first on the defense.
That doesn't happen often.
Nah.
That doesn't happen often.
But, yeah, man, we in a good place, man. I know people upset with the Saquon sitting. We'll get into that a little bit, man. I'm good with it, and I'm saying that as a running back. You know, I wanted to see him break the record. However, I'm glad that, you know, Nick Sirianni had to be the adult in the room and make the smart play, especially when you saw what happened to Zay Flowers last night. Not saying that would have happened to us, but what you want to do is remove the possibility off the board.
Right.
And that's what we have done. So I'm good with it. If you're going to be mad by yourself. But like I've said before, we should not be chasing Eric Dickerson. We should be chasing Terrell Davis, the only 2,000-yard rusher with a Super Bowl ring. That's the mark I want to get. So we are one step closer. And then after today, win or lose, the slate gets wiped clean. Everybody's starting at the same spot. And then we got a 4-week season to see who goes to New Orleans.
Yeah, you know, you brought up a handful of good points, and it's funny, offline, you and I were saying, let this be the last week we hear any of y'all complain about this Saquon Barkley nonsense, because, you know, at least for me, right, my position was always, and I want to make it very clear to people, my position was always, look, I want him to break the record. I feel like we can have both, but whatever decision they make, I'll be cool with it. And it seems like that's the part where people have a disconnect, right? They can't accept what is. And that's if he doesn't play, right? That's if he doesn't play, because according to the injury report, the only person ruled out officially is Jalen Hurts. And as far as doubtful, Saquon Barkley is considered doubtful. They have him labeled as a coach's decision.
Right.
Zach Bond, doubtful, coach's decision. A.J. Brown, Doubtful, coach's decision. Jalen Carter, N'Kobe Dean, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Darius Slay, Devontae Smith. All coaches' decisions. As far as questionable, Kenny Pickett is questionable with the ribs. Will Shipley, questionable with a concussion. And the reserves are the reserves. Dallas Goedert should be back for the playoffs. But regardless, though, there's this very thin chance that he plays. Very thin chance. I don't think he does. If he does, hey, more power to him. But the reality is, whatever decision they make, I'm going to be okay with it because I know what the ultimate goal is.
Right.
And, sure, this game doesn't mean much. But at the same time, you want to go out there and win. You want to carry that momentum into the playoffs, right? I just look at it from the perspective of keep the main thing the main thing. We know what we in this for. This record got so many people in the loop, and it's so funny how a lot of people kept saying, "Hey, you know what? He can get it done in 2 quarters. Just give him a half. Give him a half. Give him 2 quarters." And and I thought about this. You know what I said back? I said, you know what? He had 2 quarters, but he sat out most of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there were many games. How many games can you count where Saquon sat out the 4th quarter? Not because he didn't want to play, but
I believe it was 3 or 4 games.
3 or 4 games. And look, not because
and not necessarily the 4th quarter, but where he basically just kind of took himself out and was like, "We comfortable. Let Kenny Gainwell get his shine." And
exactly.
So,
right.
But it's funny because to your point, I look at those games. I look at the Dallas game. I look at when we lost to Tampa Bay and he only had like 3 carries in the first half.
Yeah, see?
Different situations like that. In my opinion, if Jalen Hurts doesn't get hurt in that game against Washington, he
breaks the record against Dallas.
He breaks the record. And even going back a little bit further to the Giants game, if he stays in the 4th quarter of that Giants game and what happened in Washington doesn't happen, I think he smashes the record. I think he gets to close to 25.
Agreed.
So, but woulda, coulda, shoulda, and this goes back to my thing is like every opportunity you got to take advantage of because you never know what's going to happen at the end.
Exactly.
So you never know what's going to happen at the end, man. And I don't blame Nick Sirianni one bit. He knows they want to go for the record. Everybody wants to go for the record, but they also know that they can't afford to get nicked up, dinged up, messed up. You know how easy it is, and it doesn't have to be a major injury. Because let's keep it real. Devontae Smith, he got a wrist injury when the dude pushed him down and didn't get called.
Mm-hmm.
You still looking at Bryce Huff ain't healthy yet. AJ Brown still got a knee. You know what I mean? So we still dinged up, and you want to be 100% no excuses.
Or as close as you can get to it.
Exactly. And the last thing I want to see, and I'm not even looking at Saquon, the last thing I want to see is Lane Johnson pull a hammy against the Giants.
Or get rolled up on.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's take that possibility off the table. We can be mad, but all of that's going to go out the door when we get into the playoffs. Because now I'm hearing people saying, now if he don't break the record, you better win the Super Bowl. And I'm like,
yo, that's such a weird angle. People,
I'm like, when was it not that? It was always Super Bowl or bust. Yo, we got the number 1 defense in the league. It's always Super Bowl or bust. We got the number
Super
1
Bowl or
defense
bust from day one. From day one.
From day one.
Even when we didn't know what this defense looked like, we knew it was Super Bowl or bust because the amount of money that was spent, the draft capital, all that. We knew. It's so funny again, and that's why I want Eagles fans to really like lock in and be like, nah, like they can't. We can't let this narrative run. This has always been Super Bowl or bust. This is Philadelphia football. It's always Super Bowl or bust. We're not satisfied with 2nd, 3rd place. We're not satisfied with just making it to the playoffs. We want it all. We want all the curses. We want all the smoke. So when people say, "Oh, hey, he not going for the record. Y'all better win the Super Bowl." Since when was it never about that? Since when was that never the goal? You know, the record was never a conversation until what? Week 11, week 12, maybe?
Yeah, realistically.
Realistically.
And you know good and damn well, if hypothetical, if Saquon breaks that record and we get bounced in the playoffs, what you think they're talking about? Nick Sirianni getting fired again.
Exactly.
The record has no bearing on that one way or the other. So you make the smart play. Nick Sirianni was the adult in the room.
Absolutely.
And it's my opinion that if Saquon really wanted to push for that record, he could have pushed for it. But he didn't. What he did was, I want to break the record, but I'm gonna let coach make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee you, if Saquon would have walked in that office and be like, Coach, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. If he would have been insistent about it, they would have went for that record.
Because Sirianni's that kind of coach.
Exactly.
He's that kind of coach.
Exactly.
He walks over to the sideline and says to Saquon, "Hey, listen, you getting close to your personal best. I'll let you play, but you let me know." He said, "Listen, let my young boys eat." He said, "You sure?" I mean, he asked him multiple times, "Are you sure?" He said he walked away, "You sure?" The whole narrative, record or Super Bowl, right? If you don't get the record, you've been on the Super Bowl. The conversation, and also a lot of people, the conversation was never really about record or Super Bowl because the Super Bowl isn't guaranteed either. The conversation is record versus rest. That's the conversation. Record versus rest, not record versus Super Bowl.
And plus, you got to remember, man, you everybody know if Saquon plays today, they putting 12 men in the box.
The 12 because the Giants looking at it from the perspective. Do you think they don't know the record coming? They don't want to be. They don't want to be the team that let him have it, especially knowing how things went. And we talk. And you said this on Twitter. I spoke about this, and I think my man LB put me on this because I overlooked this earlier in the week. He said all it takes is one Giant player to be an asshole.
One player, and if you don't think it's some people on that team that are petty, there's some people on that team that did not play with Saquon, so they don't understand, they don't know, and they don't care. And all it takes is for one player to be a little bit overzealous. Because I made a video about this, man. I was like, y'all have no idea what goes on the bottom of them piles. And I'm telling you, as a running back that's been there, you talking about poking eyes. You saw in the college game this week where the kid literally just stepped on the dude's ankle and turned his ankle.
Yep.
So everybody's trying to put a little bit of extra on something, put a little extra sauce on those tackles.
Whatever edge these guys can get, they will take it.
Exactly. You got guys out there trying to get like an incentive bonus and stuff like that. You don't know what they're going to do. So not to mention, again, just like Zay Flowers last night, the guy, he got kicked in the knee by the guy trying to go over the tackle, not to hit him. So it was a freak play, and stuff like that happens all the time. And the only way, and I saw a function up there in the chat talking about you can't play bubble wrap ball. And it's like, no, you can't play bubble wrap ball. So I'm like this. If you're going to go for the record, go for it. It ain't no, he going to play for a half or no. If you're going to do it, do it. Go full tilt. That means Jalen, the starters, everybody's playing.
And
if that is the case, that is a bigger possibility of injury somewhere down the line. And I know you're not trying to play bubble wrap ball, but you name me one game this season where somebody didn't come out banged up, whether it was Slay, whether it was CJ Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship,
the offensive line. Listen, Mailata missed 4 games. Mailata missed 4 games this year. Landon Dickerson been nicked up all year, been in and out of the lineup. Mekhi Becton been in and out of the lineup. Lane Johnson has missed a game and been in and out of the lineup with ticky-tack injuries. Like these guys, these big guys, man, I don't care how talented your team is. If your offensive line is not healthy and they go down, you have no football team. You have no football team on our offensive line.
What would it take for somebody to be going for a sack and swipe down on Jalen's hand with the busted finger again? There's a small margin for error that people don't think about, and everybody want to throw these titles and you can't play scared and all of that type of stuff.
It's not about
you
fear.
Can't play scared. But you got to be smart.
Yeah.
So again, if you're gonna be mad by yourself. But I know what? I know we going into the playoffs with everybody healthy, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, and you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. For
Exactly.
Nick Sirianni, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can win. You got some people who are just fucking idiots. I'm sorry.
The only thing that I worry about is Jalen having to shake off rust. You got a quarter to shake off that rust.
Yeah. Now the good thing is he has a legitimate running game to kind of walk his way through the game until he knocks that rust off. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I tell you what, they better have some 2-hour practices next week.
Seriously, because he's basically missing. What is that? He's basically missing 3 games.
3 games.
He basically missed 3 games, and because he only made it 11 plays. He only made it 11 plays through the first quarter of the Washington game.
But that doesn't bother me, because if he would have the same conversation, if he would have banged up his knee, and you waiting for him to get healthy, and what would be the first thing you would say? He'll be healthy for the playoffs, right? We're gonna have him for the playoffs, right?
Right.
That would be the logic. So it's the same thing. It's just manifested in a different way. So I don't mind the rest. I do worry about the rust, but this is where I got to look at Nick Sirianni. This is what you get paid for. Your job is to make sure he's ready. Point, period, in the paragraph. So if it takes a 2-hour practice, if it takes a 2.5-hour practice, you do whatever it takes to get it done. So we'll see what happens. But and to your point, he does have a little slack, because you can always hand the ball off to Saquon.
Exactly. So, regardless though, like you said, that Terrell Davis record, that's the one that's going to be really exciting to get. And I got a feeling Saquon Barkley is going to go off in these playoffs, man. I got a feeling he's motivated more than ever. I think regardless, this whole team is motivated. They know what they have in the stable. They know what they're capable of. Obviously you got the Giants today, and most likely Tanner McKee is going to get the start.
Yeah, I want to see. Who are you looking for today?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Who do you want to see?
Speaking of running backs, I hope he plays. But I really want to see Will Shipley get heavy snaps.
Yeah,
I want to see Will Shipley get some heavy snaps. I really do. And again, he's been dealing with a concussion for weeks, though. Like I'm trying to understand why that's the case. I didn't even see him get the concussion.
I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to Troy and the competition committee, because I want to find out what the protocol is for concussion protocol. Because when I saw Joey Burrow took the exact same hit that Jalen did, all of that weight landed on his forehead, pushed into the ground, same exact hit. He goes into the tent, comes back out, and I'm curious as to what's the difference. What do they see in one but don't see in another? You know what I mean? Because I looked at that hit and I was like, oh, he's definitely got a concussion. You got 300-something pounds coming at you, and you land in the ground, and your head just literally just gets mushed in the ground. He's definitely got a concussion. But he went in, came out. So I'm wondering, like, at what are they looking for, and does it really come down to that particular doctor? If that particular doctor says, he's okay, another doctor could say, nah, I don't think so. We might need to shut you down. So I'm very curious about that, because I would have bet money that Joe Burrow was done for the game after that, because that was rough. That was a rough hit.
I guess they viewed that game as highly important for them and their prospects.
Yeah.
So, maybe they were a little more lenient. That's just me making an assumption.
Joe Cool got busy too, man. I was happy for my hometown, bro. They took care of business.
Yeah, it's funny how they've dragged themselves all the way to this point, right?
Yeah.
They still technically got a chance, but a lot has to happen. But
Pittsburgh or Miami has to lose,
and Denver has to lose.
And Denver has to lose, yeah.
And I just don't know if that's going to both of those teams. That's a lot you're asking for.
Who's Denver play?
Good question. Let me see here.
I can see Miami losing. I don't know who Denver plays though.
Okay, so Denver plays. Miami plays the Jets, so they can win that game. And Denver plays. and Denver plays the Chiefs, and Mahomes isn't playing.
Well, they can still lose that game, but
they can. They can.
Miami ain't losing to the Jets.
Miami, they're not losing to the Jets, and it's very possible Denver, snags that win against KC again. Mahomes not playing. Carson Wentz is. So we'll see how that goes.
Here's something I thought about, kind of kicking back to the Saquon situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said this, And then I had to kind of think about it.
Right.
The Giants are going to be like, we'll give you the air, but he is not going to beat us.
Exactly. Simple
he
as that.
is not going to get that record on us. However, if they play a dumb defense and give Saquon lanes, you know they tanking to get their draft pick.
See, that's the thing, right? Tanking is always funny to me, especially in football, because as an organization, you could try to tank all you want, but in those players' minds, in their mind, they're not tanking. In their brains, they're not tanking. Like, you can't legislate the intensity and the intentionality of a player if you're tanking. You know what I mean?
You can't. But let me tell you what you can do, because usually this is why it happens. You can't tell a guy to go out there and lose.
Right.
It's just not in the DNA. Especially because you're at the end of the year. You got guys playing for money. I need 5 more tackles to get that $1 million
Oh,
bonus.
wait. Sorry, sidebar. 2 is out.
Ooh. Okay.
That changes things.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, you
My
threw a
bad.
curve
Sorry
on me on
about
that one.
I mean,
So you don't. So when you're talking about tanking,
correct.
Normally this is how they do it, because again, you got players that are playing for incentive money at the end of the year. So when you talking about lighting a fire under some people, you get about 4 or 5 people out there playing for incentives. Now, depending on what organization you are with, because I've seen this happen firsthand, and this is when players get mad and want to leave. You 5 tackles from $500K bonus, and then they say, "Yeah, we're gonna sit you today."
We've seen that plenty of times.
Or here's another situation where the higher ups will say, "Yeah, let's just stick to this base defense. We're not gonna blitz too much. We're not gonna." So the game plan, regardless of what they practiced, the game plan leaves a little bit to be desired. They need 100 passing yards to get a record. You know what? We're gonna play single high most of the game. We're gonna go 0 blitz a lot today. So you open up opportunities for the other team to take advantage of it. So it doesn't look like you're taking, but anybody that knows football is like, why the hell are you calling this defense? You ain't did this all year. Or
interesting.
That's not the way you call it on 3rd and 8. You know what I mean? So there's different ways you can kind of skirt the issue. But what it comes down to is, what do we always say what we want from our coaches during the year? All I need you to do is put our players in the best position to make a play. The flip side of that is, are we going to stay base? We're not going to take any chances. We're not going to gamble. We're not going to send you on the blitz. Things like that. So there's ways you can disguise it. So I'm kind of conflicted on what the Giants would do, because I do think there's a pride and an ego factor in there. Like, you used to play for us. You done gutted us once this year. I ain't going to let you do it again. You ain't getting that record on us. Tanner McKee, you go crazy. You throw for 4 tutties today. But Saquon, you ain't getting jacked. So, I mean, and I look at, again, I go back to the Washington game. When Jalen gets hurt, I think that I blame that on Kellen Moore, because Kenny Pickett can run enough to where you could have ran some decent play action and you could have tried to keep Washington's defense honest. There's no way, especially now after all of these games, and you look at Saquon, it's like, how the hell you have 20 carries for 26 yards in the second half? Ain't no way. He should have had almost 250 yards at the end of that game. He had 100 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So
even if he finished the game with 175, it's 20. Yeah, you're right. That is egregious when you think about it in hindsight. That is very egregious.
And
average
again,
1 yard to carry.
Man, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because they don't run him outside. But missed opportunities, and now we are here, and he's not going to get the opportunity to break a record, and it's a shame. But I'm happy we're going to be healthy going into the playoffs.
Simple as that, man. And shout out to Dino Shipley with the $5 super chat. He says, and this is back to your question about who do we want to see today. He says, I want to see Sidney Brown and why he ain't coming in for injured safeties. That's an interesting question because whenever one of the guys have gotten hurt, you've seen Tristan McCullum, right?
Yeah.
Vic Fangio, his whole perspective is if like who do I trust more to execute the game plan at a moment's notice?
I think that comes about reps.
And
because
the reps. And Sidney Brown has a lot of value on special teams. So.
Right, but look at it like this. If Sidney Brown is hurt, that means he probably ain't practicing.
Yeah.
Right? So Tristan McCullum's been getting the reps. That's what it comes down to. You just not going you've been sitting out, and this dude been getting all of the reps. Right. So if push come to shove and he in the game, he's supposed to know what to do because he's been getting the reps.
And you want to reward that too. You want to reward that as well.
That's where it matters, man. And I want to see Tanner McKee. I want to see Shipley. I want to see Trot Jr. And I want to see Keely Ringo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think Keely Ringo should have been a starter.
Trotter Jr. played a little bit in that Dallas game. Yeah. Him and Oren Burks were kind of, piecemealing it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Both of those guys had pretty solid games. Both of those guys were not a liability at all, which speaks to the coaching, speaks to the. Now, granted, you were going against Cooper Rush and those guys, but no CeeDee Lamb. But speaks to the depth, speaks to the coaching, and it also speaks to Zach Bond's value as well. You know what I mean?
Man, pay that man his money, please.
Yeah, for
please,
sure.
Howie, pay that man his money, bro.
For sure. Matter of fact, speaking of Zach Bond, he made his Pro Bowl. Yeah. First Eagles linebacker to make a Pro Bowl since Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
You mean Trot?
I'm sorry, Singer. Singer. I believe so. Yeah, that's what I heard. Think about it.
Oh boy, never made a Pro Bowl. TJ.
TJ Edwards, nah.
Yeah.
Never.
Wow.
Yeah. Zach Bond made a Pro Bowl. Lane Johnson made the Pro Bowl. Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and I want to stay on the Cam Jurgens part of it, right? Because Cam Jurgens, this is his third year in the NFL. Yeah. His first season, he sat behind Kelsey, watched and in a reserve role, and then his second season, he was the starter at right guard. And he was decent, he was solid, but it seemed like he was still out of position. Mm-hmm. He was small for that spot. Considering what they have now. And then he gets his first year this season, playing his natural position. Kelsey's gone. He has the keys now. Started out with a little had a couple hiccups in the first game, right? But beyond there, he has been spectacular. He has easily been a top 5 center in this league this season.
Absolutely. You know me, I was high on him last. He could have started last year.
I agree 100%.
He could have started last year, man. He was good last year.
I saw him play in the preseason game, I think last season against the Browns. And I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, oh no, he could play. He could play. I think it was last season or the year or his rookie season. I think it was the rookie season.
I remember his rookie season. I remember seeing him because we all knew about, Jason hand picking him and all of that type of stuff. So that's one, you got the seal of approval. But when I saw that he was basically the only guy handling Jordan Davis, I was like, okay, this guy got that farmer strength. Mm-hmm. So, and now
Nebraska, baby.
Yeah, he's 3 years in, man, and he has, I mean, come on, man, 3 years with Jeff Stoutland and 2 years with Kelsey.
He was bred to win. He was bred to win. Not many people are fortunate to be in a situation like that.
Fact. Quick side note: did you see Kelsey's show?
Oh, you're talking about his late night show, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I saw it on YouTube. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. It's new.
You got to watch it, dude. We need to talk about that.
He had Charles Barkley on there. Who else he had on there?
Yeah, Charles Barkley, my boy Baldy, and Lil Dicky.
Lil Dicky from Philly. Yeah, both from Cheltenham. But yeah, shout out to Lil Dicky.
Yeah, you need to watch that so we can talk about that. We need to do a show about that.
For sure.
I have thoughts. I have thoughts.
Oh my God.
Let me say it like this. when he got to the part where he was talking to Chuck and Baldy and Lil Dicky, that was good. All of the other stuff, yeah.
Work in progress.
I have thoughts.
And
he said as much. Credit to him. He said he's like, it's going to be a lot of mistakes. But he was, I think, for me, he was playing. He was taking the low hanging fruit. There was a produced gallery where they was heckling and stuff like that. And of course, you get some chick out there dressed in all Philly gear, eat the cheesesteak or a hoagie. So she would eat, say something, say something. She had this huge hoagie in her hand, and so like stuff like that, like only Philly people would get. But I was like, yeah, that's I don't know if I'm feeling that right now. So, but it was once he got to the conversation, I was good. But the rest of the stuff, he had a portal, right? So it was a little door that was off stage.
Okay.
And they had a smoke machine. So he walks in, the smoke comes out, and he called it a portal. And then, of course, it's a produced segment. Then he shows up in Jimmy Kimmel's office. And Jimmy Kimmel's on the phone like, oh, he's here again. I'm going to call you back. So it was that. And I was like, yeah.
Cheesy jokes, corny jokes,
Corny jokes, man.
Cheesy little skits.
It was fun. Once he got to the meat, it was good, though.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. First time doing that kind of show, and the good thing about it is, it's he's pretty much. I'm pretty sure he has investors, right? But he's pretty much, going all in on his own thing, doing that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's good on the. He's good on the shows, man.
Yeah. His podcast.
I tell you what, Dan Orlovsky, way better than damn Tom Brady.
As far as
commentate? Did you hear him yesterday?
I didn't get a chance to hear Dan yesterday.
Bruh, him and Louis Riddick, they knocked it out.
Oh, that combo. Bro. No, that's a great combo. And Louis Riddick is supposedly in the running for that Jets GM job.
Yeah.
So
they were good on the mic, man. Them together, they had good chemistry, man. Plus, I like Dan Orlovsky anyway. So
yeah, I like Dan as well. I may not agree with him all the time, but right. I know Dan is talking about the game. He's talking about football. And I'm a really big Louis Riddick fan. Formerly worked in Philly years ago, but I'm a really big Louis Riddick fan, man. I'm surprised he hasn't been, sought after, in the GM role as well. He's very intelligent, very intuitive brother. Where were we? The Pro Bowl, yes. Cam Jurgens.
Yeah.
This brother was put in a situation to win entirely, and it's funny. I said this on my stream on Friday that you can make an argument that he's had a stronger start to his career than Kelsey has.
Absolutely,
because Kelsey was at risk, I think, of being cut or traded, one or the other. Cam Jurgens, he was drafted to be the replacement, and obviously, if he didn't live up to the billing, if he struggled this season, the Eagles would likely find an alternative as soon as possible. But right. He's been given all the tools necessary to win. He's been a sponge, because it's not guaranteed no matter what he was drafted for. It's no guarantee. And he still went out there and did some amazing things. There's one play that stands out to me. I can't remember what game it was, but I'm pretty sure you're going to remember the play when I speak on it. There was a moment where, they hiked the ball. The quarterback drops back. Jalen dropped back. And nobody attacked the A-gap. But a blitzer was wheeling around Jalen's left side. Cam Jurgens had the presence of mind to drag his ass all the way from the A-gaps, all the way to the left tackle, all the way to the left tackle next to Mailata and pick up that blitzer. I've never seen it. I've never seen that before.
Is that the one where he kind of like did a half spin and kind of backed into it? Like you could tell he knew it was coming, but he kind of got there the best way he could. It just didn't look pretty.
It didn't look the prettiest, but if he doesn't get there, Jalen is creamed. He's done. Like I've never seen that before. Like his ability to cover ground was insane in that moment. I can't remember what game it was. I don't know if it was a Steelers game. I cannot remember what game it was. But that was a hell of a play by him. He just, he's not the biggest guy, but when you insulate him around guys like a Mekhi Becton at right guard, Landon Dickerson, that's that kind of size, it it masks his deficiencies very well.
But let me, you know what?
Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna say, go ahead and finish.
You're fine.
A lot. The same way that Kelsey is what 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Cam Jurgens is 6'2", and that comes as an advantage when you're talking about a center and a guard. Because I've seen a few times from watching film how the linebackers can come and get up under the guard's face mask. Linebackers, even defensive backs, if you get low and you get that face mask in the chest of an offensive lineman, because I always talk about losing the battle of physics.
Leverage, yeah.
But when you get that low man wins, and I saw the one where what game was that when they got in the fight? When Slay got into the fight? Pittsburgh,
yes.
And was it Minka Fitzpatrick that blitzed in there, got underneath Lane Johnson's pads, and knocked him backwards? And I was like, that ain't supposed to happen to Lane Johnson. But because he got lower, he put the hit on him in the right spot, and it knocked Lane Johnson back into the hole, and it messed up the play. And what I'm saying that for is because he's 6'2", he can still get low, and he's faster than people give him credit for. And when he can get low on those linebackers, there's nothing that they can do with him. Nothing they can do with him, because when you low like that, offensive linemen can wheel them hips around, and it's a wrap.
Offensive line play, in my opinion, sometimes it could be some of the most beautiful stuff to watch when you just see how they pass guys off and just how they move and when they pull. I love it, man. I love it. So yeah, shout out to Cam Jurgens, shout out to Landon Dickerson, who's made another Pro Bowl. One guy who I felt like should have got a Pro Bowl now this year, and obviously it's a popularity contest.
Yeah,
like there's no real analysis behind it, if you ask me. Jordan Mailata.
Jordan Mailata got the snub.
Jordan Mailata was arguably the best left tackle in football, right? He's been.
He was PFF's highest graded
football player, not just offensive lineman, right? Yeah. And look, PFF is not law, right? It's a reference point. We're not privy to their mathematics and their analytics and their metrics and their algorithms. We're not privy to that, but it's a decent tool to use to make a point, right? And Jordan Mailata was phenomenal all year long. You can make an argument this was his best season.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
When I saw Penny Sewell, Tristan Wirfs, and Lane Johnson make the list as far as tackles go, I feel like he was better than Lane Johnson this year. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
This is my opinion. And that's not taking nothing away from Lane, but and Lane was phenomenal. That just speaks to how great Mailata was. Yeah. Lane was phenomenal this season.
And continues to get better.
And is getting better. So that just speaks to what Mailata did this year, right? I'm not trying to take nothing away from Lane. I'm trying to give all the credit to Mailata. I'm using Lane as a reference point. I feel like Mailata had a better season than Wirfs. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he had a better season than Penny Sewell. I believe that. So and somebody tried to say, well, he did miss games. Well, if that's the case, then there's a few guys that don't belong in the Pro Bowl then.
Yeah. And you know what? That's fair. When I look at it like that, that's fair. Because I saw somebody was like, no AJ Brown. And it was like, AJ Brown missed 5 games this year. So that I don't agree with it. But that's a valid point.
There's guys on the list who's missed the same amount of games as Jordan Mailata and haven't been as dominant. Yeah,
you're right, Blunt. Name recognition.
Blunt. I was just about to say it's the fan vote. It's the fan vote. Michael Parsons. That's what I was talking about. Blunt. Thank you. That's exactly what I was talking about in my stream on Friday. Michael Parsons has only played 12 games. It's going to be his 13th game.
You're right.
This Sunday. So
it's that weird.
And
Micah like talking about.
And Micah has not been he has not been on his A game this season at all. That defense has been horrible. How does any Cowboy make a Pro Bowl this year?
Because they got to have a Cowboy on it. That's the only way you can say it, because to your point, the math ain't mathing. And there's plenty of people that were better, but they got to have a Cowboy on it. So Micah Parsons is the biggest name. So that's why they do it. And again, it's a popularity contest. So Like, who's voting on this? So I'm so glad that I played in the era, and this is where the Pro Bowl started to. You first started seeing chinks in the armor with the Pro Bowl, because when I played, if you made the All Madden team, that was better than making the Pro Bowl. You got more because John Madden was still alive, and he still had that aura about him, and you knew John Madden studied tape, and you knew like there was something a little extra about that. If you made the All Madden team, they gave you the jacket and all of that kind of, because everybody, it was just a different time back then. But you knew that John Madden watched the tape and he was looking for special qualities, so it just meant a little bit more. Kind of like what's it? I guess if you make the All Pro team, that's voted on by players, right? So it means more if the players, the guys that you play with, your peers, vote to your favor as opposed to a fan base, because fan bases are skewed.
Exactly. And the NFL, they introduced this whole fan vote thing for obvious reasons. They know that, first of all, the Pro Bowl product has been going downhill for a long time. And to the point where it's not even an actual game anymore. It's these Pro Bowl mini games or whatever it may be, right? And they're under this impression that, hey, if we allow the fans to vote for who they want to see, they're more likely to watch. and it's not the worst premise, but it's flawed because you assume that they're going to continue to watch. You assume that the product is good, right? No. Hey, we have a good product. We just got to get them to watch. No. You still have to have a good product out there, right? And it's kind of the same issue with the NBA All-Star game. These guys aren't motivated to really put themselves on the line in these games anymore. You know, there's
too much money on the line.
Yeah, too much money on the line, too much buddy ball. A lot of these guys are friends. They hang out in the off season, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, in the basketball angle, you know, the AAU stuff. So a lot of these guys grew up together and ate at each other's houses, and, you know, they traveled together. It's just that competitive fervor, you know, it's just not there anymore.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was about to say, I remember the Pro Bowl when Sean Taylor cracked that punter, or was it a punter cracked somebody else? I can't remember, but Sean Taylor cracked somebody.
Yeah,
he cracked somebody
in the Pro Bowl. You was scared to go across that middle,
and
you scared of it. It
I
meant something.
I remember when Deshaun Jackson, you know, he went up and he mossed two DBs, like both of them DBs. They was trying to get him. He mossed both of them. It's just the game is just really falling off beyond belief, and you know,
it's too much money involved.
It's sad. Like, I used to really look forward to him, but
you might be too young for this. But do you remember Battle of the Network Stars?
Battle of the Network Stars? No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't remember that? Mm-mm. That was huge in the 70s and early 80s. And basically, it was a they would get all of the top stars from TV, and they basically had a track meet. They would run like 100-yard dash. They would have a tug of war.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
they very familiar.
It would be, I mean, because it was the 70s and the 80s. All of the like the Farrah Fawcett's and the Linda Carter, they would always make them do some type of thing where they was in a bikini, all of that type of stuff, right? But basically, it was a track meet, and you could tell which of the actors was athletes when they were younger and all. It was easy to tell. But that's what the Pro Bowl is like now. That's exactly what the Pro Bowl is like now. They go and they're doing a bunch of drills. Nobody can get hurt. It's too much money on the line. And basically, these contracts are so big that the teams don't want the players to risk it, and the players don't want the players to risk it.
Yeah, didn't Myles Garrett get hurt like 2 years ago at the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
So
they don't want to. The last good Pro Bowl I saw was the year before. I don't even remember what year it was, but I just remember. I can't even remember who it was. What it was somebody playing defensive end, and they were trying to get the sack, but they didn't want to sack the quarterback.
Oh
so God. they were basically playing like two-handed, you know, flag football type tag, and nobody wanted to go to the ground. Nobody wanted to take anybody to the ground. And it was at that point, and people were like, this ain't even fun to watch no more because they're not playing.
Yeah, and football is real quick as blunt. He said, "Bro, Tone is 30. I'm in my 40s. I don't know that one."
Yeah, dude. It was a battle of the. I'm gonna try to bring one up, dude.
Blunt is
Oh no.
crazy, but yeah, like football is that sport where like you can't half-ass it. You can't go out there playing around. Somebody gonna crack your head, knock your head off.
Yeah.
So, man, regardless though, I'm trying to think who else made the Pro Bowl. So, I think we only had like 5 or 6 Pro Bowls. None of our DBs made the Pro Bowl,
No.
which
Which
is
I thought
insane.
was interesting.
Which is insane to me.
Yeah. I again, man, it goes back to, like you said, it's a popularity contest. The All Pro means more because you voted
Yes,
on
it
it by
does.
your.
Yes, it does. Now, I mean, a lot of
by the
gets All
team.
Pro. If he gets All Pro, then I'm cool.
Right.
So I ain't sure. So that's that's how I see that.
You know what I say, man. At the end of the day, it all comes down to I just want to be healthy in the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I meant to ask you when we were talking about Saquon. Did you hear Ray Dinger's thoughts when he talked about when he interviewed OJ back in the day?
No, I
And
missed that one.
he said he interviewed OJ, and he said that OJ told him, he said 2,000 records, he told out 2,000 yards, that was great, all of that. He said, but I'll give all of that up for a Super Bowl. And you look at, mind you, Saquon is still in rare air, right? He's only
For sure.
one of 9.
One of 9,
But there's only one of 1 that has gotten 2,000 yards and a Super Bowl win, and we close to that.
And Saquon is solidified in Eagle circles. So solidified. He's broken Shady's rushing record in the game. He's broken his single season rushing record. He is solidified.
How do you break a 6-year history with the New York Giants in one season? If he wanted, after this year, if he wanted to retire as an Eagle, would nobody have a problem with it?
It's not often where we see a guy go to a new team and we're that quick to want to write off his previous several seasons with the other team. That's not an easy. You know how dominant you have to be with that new team for us to just look at the other team as like, a precursor to your career. Like, can you imagine if he got to us in year 1?
Exactly. With Jeff Stoutland?
Can you imagine that?
Lord have mercy.
Or even if we got him 2 seasons ago, about a season ago. So yeah, man, it's fascinating. Like, Saquon is a phenomenal talent, a phenomenal human being, and he fits right in Philadelphia. I'm going to be really excited to see how these next 3 years unfold for him. I'm going to be really curious to see how he handles those contract talks, because in 3-year deals are always funny to me, because the first year is really the year where the player is playing the most free.
Yeah.
Then you get to that second year of the contract, and now you're saying, okay, what are we doing beyond the 3rd year? Like, so it's 3-year contracts are always funny, which is why you see players always push for the 4 years. You know what I mean? That's real longevity. And Saquon's contract, the way it's set up, I think those first 2 seasons are guaranteed financially, right?
Yeah.
But even then, remember Hassan Reddick, his 3-year contract. Year 2 came, he already talking about year 4, year 5, year 6, rightfully so. But you know what I mean? Those 3-year contracts are always funny. So I'm going to be curious to see how they handle that going forward. But we ain't got to worry about that right now.
Man, shout out to Howie, man, because we haven't even mentioned Hassan Reddick since like week 6.
That was a gamble, and a lot of people were against the move. I was a person that was concerned. I was concerned about the move. I was like,
I was against it because my motto: keep the homeboys at home.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot.
And in my opinion, he earned it. So I felt bad for him because he earned it.
Yeah.
And you never know what's going on in somebody's house. And here's a situation, like I always say about, stop believing in. I still ain't found that dude named Sources yet. I'm still looking for him. But you hear all of that crap that they putting out there, you got to trust the people that's in the building. And Howie there's never been a situation where I doubt Howie's decision. I might not like it, but more times than not, it's played out to where he was correct. And this is one of those.
And
as
he
much as I
gambled.
did not want to get rid of Hassan Reddick, because you know what? Hassan Reddick, if we make it to the Super Bowl, Hassan Reddick deserves to be in the, you know what I'm saying? He deserves to be there. And could you imagine Hassan
he was
Reddick
your
and
best
Nolan
defensive
Smith?
player.
Absolutely.
He was your best defensive player. Like, how do you sell a fan base on trading their best defensive player over the past 2 seasons? How do you sell how do you sell an organization? How do you sell an owner on that? How do you sell your team on that? How do you sell the fan base on that? It's not easy to do. He took a gamble. He was fearless about it. He trusted his evaluations as far as, with scouts and finding guys like Nolan Smith and believing Josh Sweat will be able to turn it around, and finding a guy like Jalen Hunt and believing that BG
Hunt, bro.
And believing that BG still has stuff left. This defensive line has truly exceeded our expectations because of the players. Think about who they lost, right? You lost Fletcher Cox.
Lost Fletch.
His replacement in Jalen Carter makes the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
You lose who else? You lost Hassan Reddick, Nolan Smith, the rookie you brought in. He has 6.5 sacks this year.
And we were killing Nolan Smith last year. Ripping him a new one.
I don't know. See, here's the thing. And let me speak for myself here. Last season, I wasn't killing Nolan Smith because I knew he wasn't getting the reps. He wasn't given the opportunities. I knew he was a rookie, so I wasn't going to kill him for that. I was giving him a little bit of a hard time during the preseason. This preseason, because he was getting the sacks, but I felt like he should have been dominating a lot of those second and third string tackles a lot more. I felt like he had a sack, but I felt like he would just get swallowed up a lot and in the trash a little bit. But now because I think he had like 2.5 sacks in the preseason.
Yeah,
and it just speaks to that. Okay, those sacks meant something because it translated.
Yeah,
it translated. You lose T.J. Edwards, right? N'Kobe Dean, he steps up in year 3, and N'Kobe Dean is somebody that has gotten a lot of help for the fan base. Year one, I didn't give him any grief at all. And shout out to my man William Johnson with the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, William. Thank you so much, man. Year 1, I didn't give N'Kobe no grief. Year 2, he battled injuries and he ended up on IR twice. So with those 2 seasons in the pocket, I said to myself, and I said on the air, and I think I've said it to you a few times, I can't call him a bad player. I can't say he's good or bad. I don't know what he is, because year 1 he didn't play because he's a rookie. Year 2 he didn't play because he got hurt. So you had some people ready to write him off. You had some people ready to crown him already. I know you were a big fan of N'Kobe and you felt like he's needed his opportunity. But me, I just didn't feel comfortable jumping out the window either way. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Mm-hmm. I was in a wait and see mode, and I was ready to give him the keys if he did his job, and I was ready to kick him out, kick him out the crib, evict him. If he didn't get the job done in year 3, man, oh man, what a way to make all those mental reps worth it.
Yeah, man, and it goes back to being in a situation where this organization puts energy into development. Everybody wants these players and these first round draft picks to be, instant stars, like just add water. Mm-hmm. And you can't do that. It takes time. It takes, with the turnaround that we have with coaches and just the way the NFL works these days, it is very, very difficult. We sitting there witnessing, you're going to have 2 examples back to back. We saw what happened with CJ Stroud last year. Oh my God, this guy has been above and beyond all expectations. This year he comes down to earth, right? Jaden Daniels this year. Oh my God, this kid is it. We found one, right? Now, what's going to happen next year when his offensive coordinator leaves? So you got to give it time. He's on his high right now, and the kid's playing off the charts. But now, like everybody else says, the same thing with Jalen and anybody, same thing with Bo Nix. You know what I mean? What's going to happen next year when things changes? Because when you have success, everybody's cherry picking your coaches, and Let's see if you can keep that same momentum up. Let's see if you can keep that same energy and performance up. Because it's very, very difficult
It's not easy.
Especially when everybody got a year of you on tape.
And guess what? It's not like Bobby Slowick left.
Exactly.
He came back actually because he felt like the jobs that were available weren't sexy enough or didn't have the best footing, right? And and this is a sidebar, but I love seeing these OCs take more control of their careers. They're like, listen, I don't care how good I don't care I don't care if I'm talented at what I do and if I'm up for a head coaching job and if I can have my pick of the litter. I don't care about that. Is this organization the best place for me and my career in the long term? But nonetheless, Bobby Slowick came back and CJ Stroud still had to sit back. So there's so much that goes into being a legitimate, NFL product. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why, I give her so much credit for weathering the storm of so much change.
Sirianni too.
So much. Yeah, it's not easy, man. It's not easy. Like, that's why I try to tell people, like, one rookie season doesn't crown you. Just how, the one season where Jalen went to the Super Bowl, it doesn't crown him. He has to prove that he can get back to that point, or prove that he can be trusted enough to get back to that point. You know what I'm saying? So, no one is exempt from the football gods. No one is exempt from the ebbs and flows of the NFL. But yeah, like just going back to the way guys have just really played above board and just really lived up to expectation, right? Look, think about it from this angle. I mentioned the Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter angle, right?
Mhm.
And I know I brought up Cam Jurgens earlier, but just think about this: you lost one guaranteed Hall of Famer and one potential Hall of Famer, and Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox respectively, and you replaced them with Cam Jurgens, a rookie, a third-year guy out of Nebraska that you drafted, and you replaced Fletcher Cox with Jalen Carter, a first-round guy that you drafted. You feel what I'm saying? This is insane. You've transitioned from the old guard so seamlessly.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing to do. We take a lot of this for granted, Marcus.
We do. And isn't it funny how Jason Kelsey and Jeff Stoutland has just shown the NFL what you should do with quarterbacks?
Expand on that.
You draft a guy, you bring him in, and you sit him, and you let him watch a great. If you have that, you let him watch a great. And the caveat is you don't have to be a quote unquote great player to understand the game. So a lot of times, how many times have I know Barry Brooks has talked about this and others, where you sit back and you watch a seasoned veteran. That veteran may not have ever went to the Pro Bowl. That don't mean he's not a good player. That just means he hasn't been recognized. And in our situation, Cam Jurgens was handpicked by Jason Kelsey. Jason Kelsey said, sit right there, watch me. Jeff Stoutland will fill in the blanks. And that's exactly what he did. And when he was ready, he was ready. And nobody wants to do that anymore. Even you look at Jordan Love in Green Bay. They played it perfectly, and now it's paying dividends. Now, he going through his struggles and stuff still, because it still takes a team to get you over the top. I don't care how good of a quarterback you are.
Right.
Your players have got to play. Look at what's happening in San Francisco. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we got the right people at the right place at the right time with the right coaches. And the coaches is what matters. So it's a very interesting mix. It's like the Powerpuff Girls, man. You still don't know what Chemical X is. You just know what it did.
Sugar and spice and everything nice.
but at the end of the day, man, we got the recipe, man. We got the right coaches, and everybody can still complain about Sirianni. You don't like him, you don't like his attitude, you don't like his antics. But you take all of those elite level coaches, or anybody that you would put in that category of that's the guy I want coaching my team, and look at their record for the past 3 years. I'll take the nutcase because he's getting results. You just don't like how he's doing it. And people get so caught up into that. And I don't understand that, man. We in such a weird era where I can't disagree with you. I got to disagree with you and then come with the 8 levels of disrespect. And it's like, if you don't like it, just don't like it. But it is what it is, and we getting results. And some people, it seems like, would rather us lose than have Sirianni the reason why we're winning. And I don't understand.
Or some people would rather have us lose and have Jalen Hurts be this 5,000 yard, 4,000 yard passer every year.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? So, like that's why I don't get. That's why it's hard sometimes because I like to ride for my guys, but in reality, I can't really put too much stock into what a lot of these people say about Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni, because at the end of the day, all those guys that you're comparing them to, or you're trying to say that's better than them, what's been their results and what's been ours?
That's it in a nutshell.
Just saying.
But remember a couple
and then
weeks
hold on,
ago,
real quick, last thing. And then they try to say, well, you guys got that super team. Is it really a super team? Or do we just draft and develop well, and we know how to find free agents, and we have a GM that actually is competent? See, this is the thing. When you have a GM that's competent, that knows what he's doing, that's not afraid to pull the ripcord, not afraid to get rid of somebody you love, you're always going to be in a situation to do something special.
Always.
Because he's going to make the tough decisions. And you got a lot of GMs out here who's scared to make the tough decision because they're too scared to get fired. See, we have in Philadelphia, we have the perfect combination of owner and GM.
Right.
Because Jeffrey Lurie watched Howie Roseman grow up in that organization. He groomed
hands
him.
off.
And he's hands off for the most part, right?
Yeah.
He may send his notes down to Howie. Hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for.
He gets involved when he needs to.
When he needs to. So when you got that combination of an owner who's not only hands off, but also he basically watched the GM grow up in his organization, and they have that relationship. Howie Roseman has a lifetime contract, basically. And not many GMs, and this is to give them grace, right? For GMs who struggle, they don't have that. 9 times out of 10, they're going into these situations where high pressure, they're only going to be given about maybe 2 or 3 seasons to make something shake. And we all know in reality, it takes way longer than that to really fix a football team.
Way longer.
You know what I mean? Especially if you're a team like Chicago or Tennessee. I can go on and on. Howie Roseman does have the luxury of patience from his GM, because there have been some years where we questioned Howie Roseman's decision making for sure. But
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. But he's always been given the opportunity to fix it, and he's proven that he can fix an issue, right? He's proven that he can ruin some plumbing, but he could fix it as well. He could fix a couple leaks. So, he's done a lot more building than destroying. And when you have a guy who has the balls to trade a guy that they just gave $40 million, $35 million to in Carson Wentz, yo, come on, man! Like we have the perfect combination of owner and GM and coach and quarterback. It works. It works. No matter if you like it or not, it works. It works for us. It works for our city. It works for our dynamic, and we get results. Nick Sirianni, what the winningest coach outside of Andy Reid over the past since he's been in the league? Yeah. Did you know Nick Sirianni is the only coach from his hiring class that is still with the job and thriving? He's the only one that's thrived.
Yeah.
And Howie Roseman,
you go back and look at,
and he's benefited from his GM. He's benefited from
all of that.
Having a quarterback he's had. He's benefited, and that's okay. We say it all the time, right? It's not when you're drafted, it's where you're drafted.
Exactly. And who's around you. And you made an interesting point, man, when you made that comment about why are people moving the goalposts because we have a super team? What does that mean?
What is that? What is that? Because here's the thing,
we got the thing that everybody is striving to do.
And we got the thing that everybody had a chance to go get.
How come did nobody say
available? You could have traded for him.
Nobody said that about Detroit?
Exactly. A.J. Brown was available. You could have traded for him if you wanted to. Well, you didn't make the move. We did. Saquon Barkley was a free agent. All 32 teams had a shot at him. Y'all didn't want to pay him because y'all bought into the narrative that running backs are dead. Okay, we didn't buy into that. We signed a guy. We drafted Devontae Smith. Y'all, whoever passed on him, you passed on him. We drafted him fair and square. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, we drafted Lane Johnson. We drafted Jordan Mailata. We drafted Landon Dickerson. We drafted Cam Jurgens. Y'all gave up on Mekhi Becton. You know what? Not Jeff Stoutland. I can fix him. Hey, what's that classic TV show, The $1 Million Man?
Yeah, Steve Austin.
How does the intro go?
We can rebuild him.
We can rebuild him. we can make him better.
Make him better.
You feel what
better,
I'm saying?
Stronger, faster.
Like,
man,
come on.
Dude, don't take me down that rabbit hole, bro. I will not come out.
But you feel what I'm saying, though?
Somebody in the chat was laughing at me because I mentioned the Powerpuff Girls. Just to let you know, I'm an animation.
Powerpuff Girls is legendary. Dexter's Laboratory. Don't get me going that rabbit hole. Like, I am a Hanna-Barbera, like, boomerang kid.
Gendy Tartakovsky. That dude is ridiculous.
Jenny Tarkovsky. She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. Samurai Jack. You know what I mean? Like, she's up there. But again, what these people try to hold against the Eagles, y'all had a chance to get these guys. Y'all had a chance.
A legit chance, and they didn't do it.
Y'all had a chance to draft Quayon. You passed on him. You had a chance to draft Jalen Carter. Y'all felt like he would be a cancer to your locker room. Y'all had a chance to trade for Slade. You didn't do it. You had a chance to get CJGJ. Y'all didn't do it.
Twice.
Detroit was the only one that had sense. But then they cut him. No, I'm sorry, he had a 1-year deal. My bad. It was a 1-year deal, and they didn't resign him. But regardless, I'm just trying to understand the people's logic. Y'all had access to the same pool of free agents, access to the same draft pool, access to the same trade targets. Why are you mad at our GM for being able to pull the trigger and make the deal? Why are y'all mad at our GM for doing things that y'all scared to do? Simple as that. Get mad at your team. Don't get mad at us. Don't say we got a super team. Step y'all fucking weight up. It's very simple. It's simple math.
I don't get it, man.
And they passed on the gene.
Yeah.
Oh, a white corner. I think a lot of times I don't know.
It's just oh my God. I think it's just Philly. Everybody gets used to trying to rag on Philly, so they move the goalposts on us.
It's so funny to me. Oh, well, Jalen Hurts, he got this super team. Sorry that my GM wants to insulate his quarterback with the best possible players he can. Sorry. People pretend like we're fudging the numbers or we have access to or we have access to an additional $50 million in cap. Everybody playing with the same numbers. Everybody playing with the same with the same bank account. What you do with your money is everything. What you do with your money is everything. Listen, anybody can make money. It takes a smart man to keep it. You feel what I'm saying?
Or multiply it.
Simple as that.
Everybody got something to say though. It's always got to be something with Philly. And I think the national narrative, just every time something happens, and if there's an angle to take a dig at Philly, everybody just wants to do that. I don't understand it. Like I said, I've said this many times. There is not a year since I played, and I played in 93 and 94. There's not been a year where somebody from the national media will bring up freaking Santa Claus and snowballs. And that happened in the 60s. And it's like everybody wants to bring that stuff up, and everybody wants to take a dig at Philly for whatever reason. So, y'all go ahead and keep digging while we get rested up for the playoffs. So
yeah, man, for sure.
It is what it is.
For sure. We're gonna start to close the show out. Obviously, this isn't really a meaningful game. So I don't really have any keys. Really, I don't think there really should be any keys. Maybe we could have some bold predictions, and maybe a score prediction. Okay, let's do this. We'll give a bold prediction. We'll give. We
can still have keys.
Okay. So what do you keys to this game? What do you keys to this game?
Still the same, except now the key to this game is our backups playing up to snuff. That's the key to the game.
That's a good point. This is an important game for them. You're right, because you want to see these guys do well, because you never know who may have to step up in the playoffs. Right. So it's a good point. That's a good point.
We're gonna be able to see a lot of those draft picks that we think should be playing more. We think should be starting. I mentioned earlier, I'm very interested to see Kelee Ringo, because I think Kelee Ringo should be starting. But I'm not going to argue with Vic Fangio, because he's been hitting the nail on the head all season. So I'm not going to go against the man that took us from worst to first. I can't do that. But I still like Kelee Ringo. And I still want to see him get more snaps, because I still think he would be a very valuable addition to that young secondary once Slay leaves, once CJ Gardner-Johnson is out of there. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I want to see him play. I want to see Trot Jr. Everybody wants to see Trot Jr. succeed. Everybody.
Absolutely. Everybody.
But guess what? Somebody came through. This dude named Zach Baum came from New Orleans and just shook everybody up. So he got to get in where he fit in. But I still want to see the boy play. And of course, Tanner McKee. So next time we have an issue with Jalen Hurts, knock on wood, we know we got a quarterback that can still throw it around and still hand it off. You know, somebody like Tanner McKee is prime for freaking play action. Prime for play action. And I don't know if you were paying attention to the Detroit game. Detroit was getting their ass handed to him with the play action pass. And I'm like, I'm taking notes on this one because that might come into play later on down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think Detroit, and this is a separate conversation. We ain't got to get too deep into it, but I don't think Detroit is a shoo-in anymore as far as like just
they have weaknesses.
That defense. You know, if they fall to the wild card round, I don't know if they make it past divisional.
I honestly believe that they might end up losing the same way they did last year. I think Dan Campbell is going to gamble and he's going to crap out. And it'll be he lost last year in the playoffs the same way we lost to Atlanta. You took the gamble, you called the right play, the play was executed perfectly. Your playmaker just didn't come up with the play.
Dropped it.
Hit your receiver in the hands and he dropped it. But you gambled and you could have taken other options to secure that game and you didn't because you were going full tilt and it ended up costing you. And I think he might be in a situation where the same thing happens.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out. But guess what? Everybody is in the blocks at the same spot. This day and age, unless you have a injured team, and Detroit would definitely fall into this category. But the injuries that they have, is a week off really going to help them? It ain't bringing back Hutchinson
at all.
You know what I mean? So, and the defense is their weakness.
It ain't bringing back what is it, Aleem McNeil?
Exactly. So they you know, every team is one play away from glory or ruin. You know, saw what happened to us in the Washington game. So, all it takes is one bad hit on Jared Goff, and they in the world of hurt. Because Jared Goff is balling right now.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. But I know everybody is in the blocks at the same spot, waiting to take off into the playoffs. And that bye week is not necessarily the benefit that it used to be anymore.
Yeah, I agree. So your keys to the game, like you said, main thing. Let's see what these young guys can do.
Yeah.
Let's have these young guys really get some quality reps in, go play to win the game. You got any bold predictions?
Is Q playing?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. See, this is the thing with these kind of games. You really don't know who's playing, who's not. Like it's you know, and Sirianni even said in the press conference, he said because of where we are in the season, like we can't just bench every starter. You know, because you know, we got reserves, but we don't have a reserve for every guy. So that's a good question.
Well, let me just say it like this.
Let me ask you this.
I want to see my defense.
Do you want to see him?
I want to see I would like to see him, but I want to see the defense get at least 2 picks.
Okay. Q would have had one. CJ took it again.
Nah, nope.
No, I ain't mad at that though. Because
he did not take it. He was in position for that. He did not take it. He had position. He had the bead on it. So that was on CJ's. Now the one earlier in the season, he definitely took that one.
And look, I ain't even mad at CJ because you know CJ funny. He said because I think the reporter asked him, "Hey, you know, did you talk to Q about taking his pick or whatever?" He was like, "Oh, word." He said, "Listen, he said, man, all I heard was the crowd, and I saw the ball, and I just did my job."
Yeah. He was in position, man. He was in position.
Yeah, my thing is when the money on the table, you can't wait for somebody else to give it to you. You got to go take it. You know what I'm saying? So
does he come back?
Say it again.
Does CJ Gardner-Johnson come back?
Did he come back? But in that game
next year?
Oh, is he coming back? Well, he's on he's on a 3-year deal.
He's on
okay. Yeah. He's on a 3-year deal.
What about Slay?
That's the question. That's the question, because Slay is technically still under contract for one more year.
I want to see Slay come back, but I want to see Slay as the backup. I don't want to see Slay start.
You know what? Slay's ego is not overinflated at all. Slay has throughout the season, he's made it very clear that, hey, listen, I ain't got too many of these left. So I'm trying to get all my young guys ready. I'm trying to get all these guys ready. You feel what I'm saying?
I want to see him be the player coach. I want to see him be like
BG.
Brandon Graham.
Yeah. BG, yeah. I agree with you on that. And again, who knows, right? He's had a good season, but I think he knows that, hey, listen, this has been a very tough year for me. Like ticky-tack injuries, he's been in and out of the lineup damn near every game.
Yeah.
Damn near every game. And thank God you have the depth like Isaiah Rodgers and Keely Ringo to supplement that, to supplement that. But, I think, I'll put it this way. If we win it all this year, which I think we will, I think Slay retires.
Agreed.
If we win it all, I think Slay retires into the sunset.
I agree. I just thought about this. You know how good our defense is? Our defense is so good. Mm-hmm. We have not mentioned James Bradbury all year.
Yo, bruh. That's what I was saying. Like, think about the players that I don't want to say upgraded from, but pivoted from, right? You pivot
Bradbury's going to play today.
Kelsey retires. You pivot from him, you get Cam Jurgens. Cox retires. You pivot from him, you get Jalen Carter. You pivot from James Bradbury for very good reason. You draft Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. You pivot from Avonte Maddox. Cooper DeJean fills that void. You cannot, this is why people hate the Eagles.
Yeah.
This is why.
We keep reloading.
Because it don't matter what happens. We got plenty bullets in the tuck. We just keep reloading. And they hate it.
They hate it,
man. So shout out to James Bradbury for being James Bradbury, I've seen him on various team productions. He's just been in the background chilling in the team lunchroom, chilling, vibing. Because here's what a lot of people gotta remember. His money this year is fully guaranteed. So he ain't tripping about nothing. He ain't tripping.
He getting paid.
I'm on a team that's winning. I'm vibing with the guys. I practice and I practice on scout team, whatever it is. My food is free. My clothes is free. I got a free gym membership. I can stay in shape. Bradbury is chilling. Nobody should feel bad for James Bradbury right now. He got what,
Nobody.
15 million in the bank this year?
Oh, he paid, bro.
He's cool.
Check this out. This is the inactives today.
Oh, it just came out.
Jalen Hurts, Darius Slay, Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Nakobe Dean, Saquon Barkley, Zach Bond, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickinson, and Jalen Carter. Those are all inactives.
Wow. So that means
they're not even dressed.
Yeah. That means they're not even dressed. So now we can put that to bed. No Saquon record.
No Saquon sneaking in. Stop it.
Exactly. So that means we're going to see CJ We're going to see Reed Blankenship. We're going to see Cooper DeJean. We're going to see Quinyon Mitchell. We're going to see Nolan Smith. If you notice, all these guys that are on the bench are their key guys. These are all key guys. Yeah. Obviously Hurts, Darius Slay. And they know Darius Slay. They're like, listen, Slay don't need the reps. We need to keep him healthy.
Right.
Smitty and AJ, obviously, your 2-star linebackers. See, I'm sure all these guys had sat down and had conversations. The coaches have said, listen, who are our vital guys? Who are the guys we can't afford to lose to some bullshit injury? Who are the guys the guys that are glued to our operation? And if you look at this inactive list, all these guys are essential to our success. All these, everybody else is playing. They feel as though, well, not entirely, but they feel that, okay, we can probably supplement this somehow, some way if we lose in 4 games. But regardless, though, like you said, no Hurts, no Slay, no Smitty, no Brown, no Dean, no Barkley, no Bond, no Lane, no Mailata, no Landon Dickinson, no Jalen Carter. Cam Jurgens is playing. Mekhi Becton is playing. The Eagles feel like, okay, God forbid, Mekhi Becton go down. We got Tyler Steen right there. You know what I'm saying? And
you know what, man? That is one guy. Like when I see stuff like that as a former player, like I get so happy. Mekhi Becton, man.
Did you see him on the sidelines?
Dude, you can just imagine the shit he was going through in New York. I can just imagine. And to see that guy finally get to the next level, like to be in your, like even Saquon, you look at somebody that's been grinding like that and never sniffed the playoff. And now you got a chance with one of the best defenses in the NFL and the best running back in the NFL, and you got a legitimate shot to get the chip. Guys like that, that's why you play the game, man, because all you looking for is your one opportunity. And on top of that, you got somebody like Stoutland that believed in you and basically turned your whole career around.
Turned it around. And at right guard, you're not doing as much, traveling like a tackle, like a tackle is, right? You're kind of, your game is kind of in a box a little bit. So even if the Eagles don't resign Becton, because he's on a 1-year deal, if they don't resign him,
they gotta sign him back.
No, I'm with you. And the way Mekhi Becton is feeling right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Becton, I don't want to say takes whatever deal they offer, but I'm pretty sure Mekhi Becton would be totally content with taking a very
discount.
I hate the term team friendly.
He'll give him a team discount,
but I think he'll be reasonable in his discussions. Let's say that.
Yeah,
I think he'll be reasonable.
This comes into, we talked about this years ago when we got rid of Miles Sanders, because the way I put it was, do you want to win or do you want the bag?
He got
and
the
that's
bag,
a legitimate question. That's a legitimate question. But just like I was saying about OJ, breaking all of those records. I mean, he rushed for 2,000 yards in 14 games, but never sniffed. OJ Simpson only has one playoff game in his career. And then you look at Dan Marino, you look at Warren Moon, you look at Julius Peppers, you look at all of those Hall of Fame great players that never sniffed the playoffs or never sniffed the Super Bowl. And on the flip side of that, Trent Dilfer got a ring. You know what I'm saying?
Nick Foles got a ring.
Right place at the right time. I'm not gonna hate on Trent Dilfer
at all.
He was good enough to get the job done, and guess what? He scored some points that season. Yeah, we all know it's defense, but guess what? He put points on the board too.
Absolutely.
So it's all about being at the right place at the right time with the right people. And I don't think Philadelphia gets enough credit for being that destination now. And we are.
Yeah. And doubling back to my man S. Blunt super chat, he mentioned how his problem with Huff and Eagles need to pay Bowen and Milton instead. Well, here's the thing, right? Huff's first 2 years are guaranteed, so his money this year and next season are fully guaranteed. They can't get out of that money. The best they can do is keep him on roster and then move on from him after year 2. That's the best they could really do. Because cutting them, now you're losing depth and you're still paying the guy. It's cheap. They always say it's cheaper to keep him, right? So, but as far as Milton Williams and Bond, listen, Hyrie's going to have some tough decisions this offseason. Do you pay Bond? Milton Williams, he's had a career year. I mean, it's he's had like 5 or 6 sacks on the season, and D tackles. Your average D tackle doesn't get 5 sacks on a year.
I worry about Milton.
I'm worried about Milton. If there's any contract that I think we won't be able to pay, it's his. Because think about it from this perspective. I think the Eagles already knew what they had, and they knew once Fletcher Cox retired, he was going to get his snaps, and he was going to show why he was as good as he was, or why he was as good as they thought he was. Hence, why they signed or drafted Moro Ojomo, who has really taken a big jump from year 1 to year 2.
I was just about to say that.
I think Moro Ojomo is the Milton Williams replacement if they can't sign him.
Exactly, and because I don't think they expected Josh Sweat to do what he did.
Because Josh Sweat got 9 sacks on the season.
Yeah, but I'm talking about as far as I don't think they expected Josh Sweat to re-sign. I think that they thought Josh Sweat was going to get more money somewhere else and take it.
Because Josh Sweat, he definitely, that speaks to Josh Sweat's character. He doesn't really talk much, but that speaks to his character. Because think about it. Think about his story. And we're kind of going off on a tangent a little bit. We're kind of just having a conversation. But think about his story, right? He was a guy that had first round talent. He had his pick of the litter, really, as far as schools go, and then he blows his knee in high school. Florida State takes a chance on him. He goes there, makes a name for himself as much as he can. Then he gets drafted. A guy that had first round talent. He was talked about as being a first round guy in the future.
Yeah.
That knee injury, a lot of teams were scared. He gets drafted, I think, in the 4th round. Eagles sign him. They get him right physically. They take care of his body. They get him on routine. The treatments are right. They gradually bring him in year after year, slowly but surely. His snap counts goes up every year, little by little, until he's healthy enough and sturdy enough to be a legitimate starter. And I just love how they've groomed Josh Sweat into his position. And I think Josh Sweat sees this organization as a team that believed in him when a lot of other organizations didn't want to take a shot on him in the draft. And I think he trusts his organization with his body physically.
Right.
And who knows? Maybe that could be a reason, or maybe that could be a path to re-signing him. A lot of these guys take their health very seriously. Josh Sweat don't talk much. He seems like a easygoing guy. Who knows, man? Again, the Eagles got a lot of tough decisions to make, but I think if he does stay, that's going to be a key reason. He trusts this organization with his career and with his health.
I think. We are still a destination team right now, and we are still in that mix. And it is just funny how name your better coach than Nick Sirianni and what they're dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is, for somebody that couldn't coach, and somebody that was a last choice, and somebody that was bottom of the barrel as a choice for a coach, he sure is making the most of it. And at some point in time, everybody really needs to sit down and shut up, because this dude ain't doing nothing but winning.
Yeah, because listen, say what you want about Nick Sirianni, he hasn't screwed it up.
Nope.
And there's plenty of coaches that we would consider smarter than him, a la Josh McDaniel. He's had multiple opportunities. He's had 2 stints as a head coach, and he screwed him up. The Denver job and the Raiders job screwed him up. So it's not a given that just because a guy has this brilliant football mind. We know Josh McDaniel knows football. We know that. But not everybody has the intangibles to be a head coach.
Nah.
Not everybody has it, man. All right, that's been a fun conversation, you guys. We really appreciate y'all for locking in for as long as you guys have. Do us a quick favor though before y'all get out of here. Make sure you guys smash that like button. We had over 200 people in the live stream, and the like button isn't matching up. So make sure you guys please get active. Let's go on a like spree, y'all. We appreciate y'all so much. We appreciate all the Eagles fans. We appreciate all the opposition in the live stream as well. Y'all been going back and forth this entire time. I've just been watching y'all bicker. It's hilarious. But make sure you guys smash that like button. That like button is truly the lifeblood of this content space. Without that like button, the shows don't grow. Our content doesn't grow. Y'all, we don't have more conversations like the ones y'all having right now. So you know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys smash that like button on both channels. We are live on multiple channels. We're live on Pro Fan Talk, Coach Marcus's Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys go subscribe and hit the like button on both channels, Pro Fan Talk and Chalk It Up Sports. It means a lot to both of us. My man Marcus is doing amazing things over there. The WNBA season is around the corner. He's going to be giving you guys a lot of content on that as well. He's going to be giving you guys your off-season updates and your playoff updates as well for the Eagles. I mean, he's locked in. Former player, has insight, has connections. Make sure you guys support this guy, man. We've been doing this all season. Marcus, you said at the beginning of the show, it's crazy how far this program has come.
Yeah, man.
When you think about it in the grand scheme of things, because sometimes when you're just working, you're just coming in week in, week out, just doing your job, doing your thing. And then you think to yourself, damn, week 18?
Week 18.
Week 18.
Here, quick second.
Yes, please.
Blink and you miss it.
Blank and you miss it. You guys, it's been a hell of a season.
We in the dance, man. We are in the dance, y'all. Let's go.
We in the dance, and we got a chance to leave the prom queen, y'all. We got a chance.
Go.
We got a chance. She looking good. Looking good. You know what I'm saying? Them things sitting up. You feel me? She looking, she looking like a Coke bottle. We got a chance. She looking real shiny in the light.
We got to get her a ring. We got to get her a ring.
We got a chance to go get her. And we got a chance to get her a ring. So you guys, please, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my man, Pro Fan Talk, at Pro Fan Talk. Please subscribe to myself as well at Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Any final words, Marcus, before we get out of here? As a matter of fact, you want to give me a score prediction before you get out of here, my friend?
I'm going to go 24-10.
24-10? I like that. That's reasonable. I'm going to say 27-12. I think
12?
Yeah. I think the Giants won't score a touchdown today.
Wow.
3, 6, 9, 12, 4 field goals.
Okay. I had to add that one up. Okay.
He said 12. Hold on. We said 12 all year.
Wait a minute. I was like, is the defense getting a safety? Like, what's going on?
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Oh, man.
4 field goals. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
27-12. I think Tanner McKee's going to go out there and light them boys up. I really do. I'm a big Tanner McKee guy. Big Tanner McKee fan.
I like Tanner. Kenny Pickett gave props to somebody that's playing with broken ribs, man.
Shout out
your
to Kenny
ribs
Pickett,
get barbecued like that. Yeah. Shout out to him, man.
Let me ask you a quick question before we get out of here.
Sure.
If it came down to it, God forbid, but if it came down to it and Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee had to start in the playoffs for a game, who would you choose?
Honestly, I would probably go Kenny Pickett because I want somebody with playing experience. And as much as I like Tanner McKee, he doesn't have much of it. And I'm not one to get over
excited.
I'll pump my brakes on the good game that he had.
Okay.
With the 4 or 5 passes he threw.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I got to be realistic about that. And a lot of people, they rip on Kenny Pickett, forgetting that Kenny Pickett had a winning record in Pittsburgh. He was 14-10.
Believe it or not, he did.
So I mean that counts for something. And he wasn't playing a bunch of tomato cans. He got good wins, man, and he got
in that division.
He did some things. Yeah, he did some things. So I take that into consideration. And let's be honest, he did look good after a week with the starters.
Sure did.
He looked much better. And who knows what he would have done if he hadn't got, had busted up his ribs with the first hit, not the second one, not the Micah Parsons hit. Right. It was that first hit that jacked him up.
Agreed. Yeah, so you got 24-10, I got 27-12. Those are our score predictions for this Eagles versus Giants matchup. Once again, you guys, just to make sure we're on the same page here, our inactives for today: Jalen Hurts, Darius Slay, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Nakobe Dean, Saquon Barkley, Zach Bond, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, and Jalen Carter. Those are your inactives for today. Those are the guys who are not playing. Those are the guys who are going to be in pajamas on the sideline. So make sure you guys
not pajamas
because
it's cold out there today, bro.
Make sure they got their snowsuit on. And I heard that you guys are gonna get some snow on Monday.
Yeah, it's supposed to be ugly, Ryan. We're supposed to get 3 to 5, and that's kind of going up and down depending on how the storm moves. But with the temperatures low like this, it's gonna be ugly with the ice probably around here. So we'll see what happens.
Listen, all of y'all on the East Coast, all my family on the East Coast, all my people, man. If y'all getting bad weather, inclement weather, make sure you guys be safe, man. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. The show doesn't go on without you guys. So smash that like button. Once again, subscribe to Coach Markus at Pro Fan Talk. Subscribe to myself as well at Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Hey, Marcus, spin that record, man.
Let's do it.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Markus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. 9 guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle, soars in the sky. Tone and Markus always standing by, bringing the heat, call it do or die.